Okay, so, oh, actually back your triangle up just a little. Yep, good. Back it up just a little. Perfect. Okay, so did we find what we thought we would find?
Yeah. Looks like we did, because the area, my perimeter is 12, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 area. So
Okay.
it's 12 and 16 like we thought.
Okay, and what about yours?
And my perimeter is 16 and the area is 16.
Okay. So one thing we're finding here is that the area and perimeter seem to increase in different ways.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So what is happening when we increase the side length by 1? What happens?
Well, for the triangle, the perimeter increases by 3, and my area goes up to the next square, x.
All right. So when you increase the side length of the triangle by 1, the perimeter increases by 3.
Yep.
Okay. What happens here on the square?
When I increase it by 1, the perimeter increases by 4.
All right.
So I have 4 sides.
So you have 4 sides. Okay. So now we get to talk about the 5-foot tall person walking around the earth.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay. And the question was, how much farther does the head go than the feet?
Yeah.
Okay. So how far did the feet go? That's the first question.
Well, they went. Oh, that's just around the Earth. We can pretend, and I think they went around the equator.
Yeah.
We can call the radius of the Earth R.
Okay.
And then their feet went around the circumference of that circle with radius R.
Okay, so how far did the feet travel?
So it's 2 pi R.
The feet traveled 2 pi r.
And then the head traveled 2 pi r plus 5 feet.
Okay, interesting. So what do we need to know to figure out the radius, or the circumference? What's the one thing we need to know? Well, let your brother answer. What do you need to know to figure out the circumference of a circle? Do you know?
No, we need to know the diameter of it. And
Yeah, either the diameter or the radius.
yeah.
Okay, so what shape does the head trace out as it walks around the Earth?
It's like, if we pretend the Earth is a sphere, it traces out a circle.
Okay, yeah. And what's either the new radius for that head or the diameter for the head? Actually, both questions. Either one. What's the new radius or what's the new diameter?
Well, the new diameter is the old diameter plus 10 feet.
Ooh, why plus 10?
Because if you draw a line across the new diameter, there's going to be the old diameter, and then on that line there's going to be a point where the person walked that's 5 feet taller, and then 5 feet taller on the opposite. So
interesting, interesting. And so what's the new radius?
The new radius is plus 5 feet.
Okay. And how do we calculate the circumference?
Isn't it 2 pi times the radius?
Yeah. All right, so how do we do that calculation? What's 2 pi times that new radius?
Well, the radius is now r plus 5.
Okay.
So it's 2 pi, well, it's pi times 2r times 10 pi.
Say that again?
So we have r plus 5, so the 2 pi goes to the r first.
Uh-huh.
So we have 2 pi r plus 10 pi.
10 pi. 2 pi r plus 10 pi. Does that make sense? Do you see why it's 2 pi r plus 10 pi?
Because, well, if you have the r plus 5, and so it carries to the 2 pi carries to the radius, so it's 2 pi r, and then plus 10 pi carries to the plus 5.
You see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So, how much farther does the head go then? How much farther does the head go than the feet?
Well, so the circumference. What did it used to be? It used was 2 pi r.
Okay, and what is it now?
And then it's 2 pi r plus 10 pi.
So
it's 10 pi.
It's 10 pi more.
Yep.
And how many feet is that approximately?
Well, 10 pi is 31. It's 31.4.
Okay.
So that's around. It's a little less than 3 feet.
No, it's a little more than 30 feet. It's 31, basically 31 and a half feet.
Well,
So we're trying to figure out how far 10 pi feet is.
well, 10 pi feet is 31.4 feet.
Yeah.
So then that would be around 31 feet.
Okay. So it's about 10 steps, maybe a little more than 10 steps.
Yep.
So that's interesting. And what's surprising about being able to answer this question?
Well,
We don't know the circumference of the Earth.
We don't need to know the radius of the Earth.
Right, you don't need to know the radius of the Earth. All you need to know
Yeah.
is that you've got the same shape. Just like here, the circumference was increasing by kind of the same amount every time. And it was increasing, in this case, as you make circles bigger, every time you make the radius larger by 1, you increase the radius by 2, the circumference by 2 pi.
Yep.
So when you increase the radius by 5, how much do you increase the circumference by?
You can increase it by 10 pi.
10 pi. There you go.
Yep.
All right. That's a pretty neat problem, and you can kind of see it with our zone tool set too.
Yeah.
All right. Good job this morning, guys.